Hello, and welcome back to the Secrets to Alignment podcast with your host, Savannah Schaffer. I am so thankful that you decided to click play on this episode today. If you are currently working a 9 to 5 and you are looking for more balance, you're wanting to prioritize yourself a little bit more, this is a conversation you do not want to miss. If you're wanting to be more consistent and disciplined with your routines and your habits, this is going to support you so much. So let's jump in and enjoy this conversation with my girl, Miranda. You are absolutely going to walk away from this feeling so lit up, so centered, so grounded, and ready to get after every single thing that you have been wanting to. Let's go ahead and jump in.
Welcome back to the Secrets to Alignment podcast with your host, Savannah Schaffer. I am so excited for you guys to be here to listen to this incredible conversation between Miranda and I. Miranda is an absolute manifestation mindset queen. She is currently working her 9 to 5 as a coordinator in child welfare. And outside of that, this woman shows a level of discipline and consistency like nobody else. She keeps the promises that she makes to herself. She pushes through any discomfort and chooses to create the life that she loves every single day. She doesn't settle. She only thrives. And I am so grateful that our lives happened to cross paths nearly 8 years ago, which is so crazy. And now Miranda feels like a soul sister of mine. And I know that we're going to be friends for all of the years to come. And I'm just so grateful. I love her heart and soul. And I cannot wait to share her magic with you. So everyone, please welcome Miranda.
Hello, everyone.
All right. I would love to just really take us back a little bit before we jump into the depths of habits and routines and discipline and consistency and intuition and manifestation. I would really love to know where you were at before you started prioritizing yourself the way that you currently are today.
So let's take it back about 3.5, 4 years. My typical routine looked like waking up, going to work 8 to 7 p.m. During those hours, I was running off of energy drinks and very bad food. And I had absolutely no priorities. Honestly, it wasn't even a sense of routine. I was getting through the day. I was going through the motions, just doing what I had to do to make it. And honestly, my goal was to get to bed every single day. That was the reason I got out of bed, was to go back to sleep. So once that started happening, I quickly realized what is going on.
Okay. Break that moment down for us. What was it that actually made you realize that you had to start prioritizing things a little bit differently? And now, where has that taken you?
So I think the pivotal moment for me was actually a very important breakup that happened 3 to 4 years ago. I hit rock bottom again. And once that happened, I feel like in those moments, it's a sink or swim situation. And at first, everything was hazy. You don't know what to do, you don't know where to go. And I just always had a sense of like, this isn't it. This isn't what your life is about. This isn't, you're capable of 10 times more than what you're doing. And once I started slowly diving into that is when I realized my capabilities. And it took years. It took years to get to where I am, at least the 3.5, 4 years it took to get to where I am. I would say I've been confidently doing this routine and making huge impacts on my mental health this past year.
Okay. So, you are someone who practices these non negotiable months. Give me a little insight into what these non negotiable months look like for you, how you came up with that idea, and how it's supported you.
So, of course, social media is amazing. I feel like it's a good reference for a lot of things that you see and things you can put into your life. And I saw this one video. One video said non negotiable month. I sat there and watched it and I was like, that's perfect for me. Because I do feel like I'm a little bit of a procrastinator at times. And I was like, you're putting so many excuses in your day to day. What would you be capable of if you didn't do this? So I started creating a list of things like it was for physical, mental, soul, every aspect. My first one was in April. And I just thought of every part of my life that I could improve. And I said, let's go for it. You can do anything for 30 days. So it was the journaling, it was working out, it was being positive, waking up every day and being positive, listening to podcasts, listening to activations, just anything that I could do every single day, I was doing it.
Yes. And when you sent me that list of all the things that you are going to do, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is a lot, but you really stuck to it. And I feel like that then changed the way that you showed up in the months that followed in a very beautiful way. And now that it actually, to me, from an outside perspective, it seems as though it has shifted your identity. It's like you've become the woman who wakes up early in the morning and prioritizes herself before she clocks into her 9 to 5. And I think that that's something that so many people in a 9 to 5 can get stuck in is like, we feel like all we do is we go to work, we come home, we eat, and we go to sleep. And that life, like on repeat every day, over and over and over again, it doesn't feel fulfilling. Was it like that for you? And is how has that played a part in these changes that you've made?
Yes. Did you ever watch SpongeBob when you were a kid?
Totally, yeah.
The one episode when Squidward is going through every single thing over and over again each day, that's what it felt like. I was like, what am I doing? And to be honest, there was this moment I saw something online and it was like, when you are old and you can't get out of chair, what are you going to think about your life? What did you do? And that hit me like a freight train. And I was like, I'm not doing anything. I'm laying in bed. I'm going to work. I'm seeing my friends every once in a while. Like I'm not prioritizing anything in my life. I'm just going through the motions and I'm in my prime. What am I doing?
Okay, that's like, I feel like so needed to be heard right now because when you start to prioritize those other habits and things, how has that impacted your day to day life, but also just like your quality of life altogether?
Overall, I think I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life, even though it's so funny because like old me, the schedule I have now would terrify me. Like
Mhm.
doing too much in a day would drive me nuts and I would have anxiety. I would wish the day over very quickly. And me now, I'm excited to do the things. I'm excited to go on my walk and get my steps in. I'm excited to go to the gym or go to my Pilates classes. Like mentally, it's just so fulfilling. And now I even have time for my friends, family, myself, my boyfriend. Like I'm doing so many things and I'm enjoying it. And
Isn't that crazy?
it's so crazy because I'm like, old me would hate this. She did not want this at all. And now I'm thriving. It's like almost
Yeah.
sometimes you get held back for a reason. So it's more fulfilling when you get to this point.
I feel as though what's crazy is like you think before you do it, you're like, how could I ever have the time for that? How could I ever have the energy for that? Like you're getting 8K steps minimum. Last month you were doing 10K steps and above. Like there was days that you were getting like over 10K.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden you were gifted with like all of this time that you were just now using to your advantage. I feel like time management is something that you have really nailed, honestly, because you do so much in a day, yet you're constantly improving and not allowing any of the plates to like fall on the floor and crack. And I really admire that about you. I am very curious. I know there are days, we all have those days where we get a little bit in our head and like, the alarm goes off and we don't want to fucking get up, or we know that we have extra things that we need to go do, but like we don't feel like doing them on the days where your inner dialogue is maybe a little bit more negative or it's hard for you to show up for your goals, what keeps you going?
So I do think it's very important when you're on this journey, you can identify the things that are going to keep you grounded and make you happy, even in the darkest days. I'm human. Just a few weeks ago, I had a little bit of a breakdown because I was so stressed out of everything that I'm doing, but it was a moment. It wasn't a full day. It wasn't 2 days, a week, a month. It was an hour, maybe.
Mhm.
Um, I grounded myself. I listened to a podcast that kind of explained the situation of what was going on. Going for a walk and pep talking yourself, remembering we're human. What, I mean, what's it going to do if you're sitting here and freaking out about it? Like, I kind of have learned recently everything I'm learning is also, I'm growing every single day. So everything I'm saying, it takes time. You're not going to just learn this stuff overnight. But thinking of your problems as small as a feather, because every single time a bad day happens, you get through it. So why not, instead of having to freak out, you take a second and you think, hey, I'm going to get through this. So let's just go through the motions. Let's figure it out and let's get to the other side easier and with less anxiety and with less freak out. No matter what, you're going to get everything done. And I just think it's important to sit back and be nice to yourself, because I also realize being hard on yourself really doesn't do anything. So many people are
Yeah.
hard to themselves every single day. They're just mean to themselves and it gets you nowhere.
hmm And both of us have been there. And I will say that Miranda started working with me one-to-one over these last like couple months, where she began all of the things that she's doing. Before, she was doing a lot more on her own as well. And what I love about working with Miranda is that outside of our calls and outside of our conversations, she's also her own fucking coach. She's also sitting there and like making sure to talk to herself the way that I would talk to her, or the way that her higher self would talk to her. I think that that's an even better representation. She is asking herself, like, okay, how am I going to feel after this is over? I'm going to feel better. So let me just go get this fucking done. Like, she's sitting there and she's actually slowing herself down in the moments where she feels like the most chaotic and out of control. She's giving her the pep talk that she knows she needs to hear. And I love that, because not everyone is like that. Some people can just like spiral in what they're feeling and not see themselves outside of it. And you do such a beautiful job at doing that. And I'm curious, like, how do you feel like you've cultivated that? Like, how have you created now this extra voice that comes in and says, Miranda, you're going to get through this. Miranda, like, you're doing okay. Like, where has that come from and how have you heightened it? And like, give us a little bit more insight on that, please.
So when you go through super hard things, at least for me, I hermited for a long time. So I really only had myself. And I honestly didn't rely on many people to help me through a situation. So it was a lot on myself. And it was a lot of talking to myself. And it was a lot of bad thoughts at first. And then I kept thinking, I'm like, well, why not switch it to good thoughts? If I can have bad thoughts just as much, why can't I just go ahead and switch it to good thoughts? So then I started doing that more. And then once I dived into my woo side and all of that, I started realizing, like, one, my highest self is talking to me. I feel like we always have our highest self within us. It's up to us to pull on them. Because everyone's like, reach for her stuff, reach for her stuff. It's there. It's always in you. You just have to embody her and or him. And also, we have spirit guides. Every single one of us have spirit guides, and I talk to them every single day. I think it's very important to call on your spirit guides, and I don't think people do it enough. But also remember, just because you have guides doesn't mean they know what you need. I feel like you need to talk with them and chat with them, and they're always there to pull you out of ruts. And just even say, like, sitting there and being like, I don't know what to do. I need help. Like, what are we doing? And then typically for me, good thoughts will start pouring in and help me get out of that rut easier. But if you just sit there and you dwell on it and you expect it just to come out of nowhere, it's not going to happen. But you always have it within you. You just
Yeah,
have to realize it.
you're requesting an answer.
Yep.
Like, instead of staying stuck in the problem, you're requesting the solution. And the solution always drops in.
If you're listening to this episode right now and you're sitting there feeling like this is your season and you want to see your entire life, your identity completely upgrade in the next 6 months, I want you to click the link down below to apply to work with me one-to-one. I have very limited spots available for one-to-one clients. I typically turn down 75% of the women who I chat with because I only work with women who are in full alignment and are ready to step in to the most abundant, fulfilled, and free version of themselves. If that is you right now, I want you to click the link down below, apply to work with me. I will schedule a call with you. If we are in alignment, we will begin working together as soon as possible and absolutely transform in the next 6 months. Mwah!
I would love to dive in a little bit more on the woo-woo side of things. How long have you felt like you were maybe a little gifted or a little different than most people?
So I would say maybe right out of high school, like I always felt like I had a sense of knowing. Like somebody would text me, I know who it is. My mom would go to do something, I would know what she was about to do. Somebody would knock on my door, I would know who it is. But then once I got out of high school, I started diving more into crystals and just little things like that. It started off with just crystals, I want to say. Then I fell off of it for a little bit, started getting back into it, started doing journaling. I was big on journaling for a very long time. Um, Writing letters to the universe was a big thing for me.
Ooh.
And I took it to the extreme of starting to do my little tarot cards and stuff like that. And that's when I started really connecting. I was like, oh my goodness. Then I did find out that one of my great grandmas actually pulled cards and stuff like that. And like some of my family has been interested in little things like that. That I would start talking to spirits a little bit, just like egging on their energy and just kind of seeing, with light and love, of course. Like, I don't want no negativity ever. But then it would connect through my dreams. Like, to be honest, still to this day, I don't know exactly where my gifts will take me, but I like to pick and choose little things here and there and just call on them in my day to day.
Beautiful. Okay. With that being said, your 9 to 5 is within child welfare. And it seems as though that could be a very like energetically, it could pull you in a lot of different directions. So for someone who's listening to this that maybe is in a similar situation with their work, they feel like maybe they're in a really draining environment or they have really negative coworkers or they're doing something more close to like what you're doing where they're dealing with like very intense situations at their work frequently. How do you protect your energy and create those boundaries within yourself?
So I think it's very important to set intentions before you're going out to a visit or dealing with a family or kiddos and stuff like that. One thing I really enjoy doing is I imagine a white bubble around myself, just so I can be listening to the conversation, taking it in, but not taking in their energy. And I'm able to, boop, like whoosh it off when I get back in my car so I can get the job done, but not emotionally take it home. I think it's very easy for us to emotionally take this stuff home because it's these people's lives,
Yeah.
their lives are in our hands. So to a certain extent. So I do like doing that. And also if it's like very intense moments of traumatic events, extreme situations, whatever. And I feel like they're being very passionate in front of me talking wise. I'll cross my arms or have my hands like this or something, just an extra block off from them,
Mm.
just so I can separate a little bit more so I can be focused on the job I'm doing instead of my emotional aspect.
I love that. That actually even supports me because I feel like with my experience, I've definitely been there in a lot of like a lot of the most traumatic experiences in some people's lives. And even earlier today, I got off a really heavy call and I walked downstairs and I was like, that felt like almost as if someone just like vomited all over me. Like their energy it was a lot.
Yeah.
And I had to take a moment to like come upstairs and I literally started shaking my body. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
I
I'm
love
like
that.
shaking off the energy.
Yep.
And I sit there and I look so silly to anyone else, but I'm literally in my mirror, like windmilling my arms in circles and like pushing air like back behind me and shit. And I
Like
just
huge it off.
yes. And then after that, I like took my sage and I like went all over my body and I was just like, okay. And I think that honestly it hit me harder because I didn't set the boundaries and like I didn't set the intention of protecting my energy before I got on that call. And I do feel like when you do set that intention, it is so much better. And honestly, I am going to put this in my calendar every single time that I conversate with this specific client of mine because I want to make sure I can be there to support her. Same for anyone who's listening to this, whether you're working like a 9 to 5 at a restaurant and you're like, I can't stand the coworkers that I'm with or whatever it is, like you can always take a couple minutes before you walk into that threshold, that door to set like an energy bubble or set intentions and decide that when you show up in that atmosphere that you are going to be you're putting up this wall that's going to protect you. And I love the idea of like actually like clasping your hands together or crossing your arms. I think that that's also something that I'm going to take forward from this conversation, because I think that it does make a big difference. And I feel like when you don't do those things, you naturally just carry that energy on throughout your day. And it's not fair even to the people who are around you. Like I went downstairs and I talked to Ty about it. And like
Mhm.
that's not fair to me, like for him to be hearing those things. I should have protected that. And yeah, so it's just something to be very cognizant of.
I
I
agree.
am curious, with your intuitive hits and the way that you are so spiritually connected, how has that supported you in these habits that you're creating for yourself in your 9 to 5 too?
I would say it's just nice because I'm like, what do I need in this time? What do I need to do in this moment? And typically it's like I like getting my physical aspect done in the day of like doing the Pilates, doing my walks, whatever. Or if I know I have a hard visit, I will do my walk afterwards. So that's a very refreshing thing for me to
Mm,
get my
yeah.
mind straight for the next whatever I have to do. Um, I will say, I think almost every single one of my clients that I deal with, I feel like they were purposely meant to be with me. Even in my last job, so I supervised visits for children's services before I switched here, and my parents were together. Like there's no kind of situation that I've dealt with that these families have dealt with, and for some reason, I just knew what to say when they were at the lowest of lows. I just knew what to say, and it never made sense to me until I really started diving in and like opening up my third eye, so to speak, of just like, you know what to do and just fully surrendering and trusting that. Even outside, like my coworkers at the time was like, I would never have known what to say. Like I would never, it's like, just sometimes I'm like, you just have to be empathetic and just be there and, do what you have to do for them. I fully think that I'm connected with the right people that I need to be connected with. And it's fully a blessing to be able to, like, just the other day, I told you I had this client and we just went down this path of conversation that really didn't need to be said, but I felt like it needed to be said. I felt like she needed a little bit more support. And instead of feeling fully drained afterwards, I felt half recharged with it too, because I just knew I was exactly where I was supposed to be.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so with you just now said that somehow, some way, you just knew exactly what to say. And yes, we can say that's like empathy, but do you also feel like you could be potentially channeling in those conversations where you're allowing this stream of consciousness to kind of come through you to be the medicine that that individual needs to hear?
Yes, I believe so, because there's been many times in my life that I've had conversations with my guides and stuff like, help me through this, help me do what I need to do, definitely within my child welfare jobs, because I mean, it's big boy stuff. It's situations I've never dealt with personally. So I've always kind of pulled on them of like, what do we need to do here? What do they need to hear? Um, what should I do? Because every single one of them are different, to be honest. And it just felt so natural and it would just flow. And as it was happening afterwards, I was like, every single time I shocked myself, I'd get in my car and I'm like, what even happened? How did you even do that? I'd go home and tell my parents, and they're like, you're just good at what you do. And I'm like, it's bigger than that. I just always felt like it was bigger than that.
Hmm.
Which, thank
Absolutely.
you for them for telling me I know what to do. But still, I was like, yeah, I think I'm a little connected.
Yeah, I love that you've really leaned into this side of yourself as well. What are some of the more off the wall woo-woo things that you do to keep yourself in such high vibes?
One, I of course talk to my guides all the time. So one of my favorite things to do is if somebody's in my life that I'm like not sure about, or a situation that I'm not sure about, I literally will say like, please remove them if they're not meant for me. Please remove this situation if it's not meant for me. And I'm not kidding. One time I did this, I journaled with a full moon or a new moon, I can't remember. And after I journaled that, within a week or two, I moved back home. I lost a girl that was my best friend, and I ended up having to switch jobs
Hmm.
all within a matter of time. Because to be honest, my life was very stagnant in that moment. I was like, what do we need to do here? So I did
Hmm.
act on it. manifest it. I was like, what do we got to do? Remove it. Like, I'm done. Let's move forward. And everything happened very quickly. So use that cautious. If that's something you want to do, they will listen to you. Um, if there's somebody in your life that's giving you issues, or like the coworkers, say you work at a restaurant, there's coworkers you don't like, whatever, put a gray cloak over them. Put a gray cloak over them, and they typically will leave you alone. Like, they will just be less reactive or angry with you. Um, Talk to your water, talk to your food, talk to trees. I think
Love.
talking to your like, I talked to my drink before this of like, let's talk about anything that needs to be talked about. Like, please help me have a calm conversation, keep me cool and grounded, little things like that. Talk to your body as if she's your best friend. Like, if you don't know what to do, like your head's hurting, you don't know why, quit bringing light to it. Instead, my head's okay, like my head's healing, all this stuff. Like, or what do I need to do to help my head? Don't just ignore like, oh, I have another headache. Something's going on. Um, One that I just started a few months ago that you know about, I have body dysmorphia, like a mofo. A lot of people do. Um, One way I've helped myself so much is touching my stomach, talking to her, like nourishing my body, because at the end of the day, she does so much for me. So why aren't we nourishing our body in every way that we can? I'm trying to think. Affirmations. Talk to yourself. Fake it till you make it. Be delusional. And be as delusional as you want to be. If you want to be somebody, a certain personality trait, have certain things in your life, act as if you already do.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of bed on the right foot, literally. And let's see, pep talks, of course, are amazing. Label your negative side as if it's somebody else.
Ooh. Ooh, I like this. Okay, tell me more about that.
Basically, so like, I know when she's coming in that she's pep talking to me in a bad way. And I'm like, who is she? Like, I don't subscribe to these conversations. I don't want to deal with these conversations in my head. Like, your brain doesn't want to change 9 out of 10 times. It's not going to be an easy thing to change. Your body and brain likes to stay the same. It's easier. So when you are actively in your healing journey, it's going to take a while for your thoughts to get to where you're going. So I still have bad days, and I've been on my healing journey for 3 to 4 years at this point. And one thing I saw, and I just shared in Tranquil Minds last night, you can't control your first thought, but you can control your second. Your first thought, if it's negative Nancy, call her negative Nancy, and that's not who you are. That's not who you are now. You have to end that cycle. And the more you end that cycle in the moment, the quicker that first thought's going to be something positive.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. And this is like not even just like our experience. This is what science proves too. So it's really cool to hear you say that. Throughout your healing journey, I know that there has been moments where you've been really deep in the work and you're actively reprogramming these thoughts and you're choosing a new thought and all of these things. And has there been experiences throughout that time period where it did feel like it was getting worse before it got better?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Confidently, yes, times 100. And almost each time that cycle hit, it was harder. The lessons and the test that the universe gives you are almost insane. They will test your boundaries as much as they can to see how dedicated you are to this path. And it took me so long to understand that, because every single time that popped up, I was like, woe's me. What do I do? It's like, clearly I'm not on the right path because it keeps getting harder. Now, that's why a lot of people don't make it to the points of where we're at, because they give up because it gets so hard. I'm telling you, every single time it gets harder, push, 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 push. And learn how to, when these tasks and these lessons come up, ding, 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 you know what's happening. Go through the motions and get through it. And it will happen quicker every single time. You just can't give up. It happens, and it's hard. It is hard, and it gets it gets exhausting. But I
Yeah.
notice every single time it happens, it gets better. And then the cycle is longer till the next little moment.
Yeah. I remember you texting me like throughout some of those experiences and like it almost would be easier to just be like, wow, I wish I didn't know any of the stuff that I know and I could just like float through life like not recalling this, but then it would just be harder in other ways. It's like you really do choose your heart in those moments. Like it's absolutely harder to face what's coming up and to process it and to like not go to binge eating or numbing out or going to something else that can fulfill that like dopamine hit to like give you something that's going to feel good. But instead you choose like, I'm going to sit with this. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to go walk it off. Like I'm going to actually journal on this and see what's deeper here. And I remember like you reaching out to me, it must have been like the end of last year. You reached out to me and you said, I've been watching you forever and I'm finally ready. I want to know more about Tranquil Minds. And you and I were DMing. And then this entire experience has just evolved between both of us, which has been so amazing. First off, I want to know, how did you know that you were ready for Tranquil Minds? And then second, when you're done, I want to know, how did you know that it was time for you to invest one-to-one working together?
So I knew I was ready for Tranquil Minds because I knew I was done with excuses and I was done playing the victim. You heard it here first. That's a hard thing to say, you guys. You go through hard things, but at the end of the day, you can't be a victim forever. Like it's if you want to, you're not gonna get live your life to the fullest. But I just knew at first I kept watching you and then I saw Tranquil Mind and I was like, oh, I'm so interested in that. But I just knew I wasn't ready. I just knew I would make the excuses and I wouldn't put my full potential in. So once I sat back and I was making all these positive changes, I was like, this is it. I know I can do this. And it was just the full moment, I feel like, is when I really started surrendering to this path. I fully started surrendering.
That's so, so potent. I feel like that really is like sometimes things get to a point where you're just like, I know that if I just had more support and I had someone there to like hold me accountable or to encourage that next level out of me or to be surrounded by a community who are all doing the same things, like it truly makes such a huge difference. After you were in the Tranquil Minds for a couple months, that's when you decided to work together one to one.
Right.
Why did you decide to dive in on that more personal level and how has it been?
One, it's been amazing. It has literally skyrocketed me so quick on the path that I'm on. Um, I think what started it was one, it's hard for me to trauma dump, so to speak, on my close loved ones because I'm an empath. So I feel like I've taken everyone's energy to a certain extent if I'm not doing my practices and stuff. But I feel bad asking for help. And I feel like a lot of people struggle with asking for help. And I knew with one to ones, I am asking for help. This is exactly what
Yeah.
I'm for. So I felt like that was a very good outlook for me of like, this is a true time you're going to get help. Cause I just throughout this whole path, I really didn't look for outside perspectives or opinions to a certain sense, you know? And once this kind of fell in my lap, I was like, one, she will hold me accountable. Like I just knew you don't take no shit. Like you, if you are in my one-on-ones, you're gonna work.
Mhm.
And I needed that and it worked. I mean, look at me now.
Yeah, I love hearing that, and I feel like it's so true when you are on this, like, personal development journey and you're learning all these things, you're listening to all the podcasts, like, you're journaling, you're doing all those things, like, it is the most enlightening journey, and I think that sometimes, though, we can kind of get stuck in just, like, being so in our head. And I feel like when you have someone to go to and you're like, hey, this is what's coming up for me. And like, am I crazy for thinking this? Or is this actually what's going on? Or how do I get away like from this specific thing or like whatever? Like when you're just able to voice those things out loud and have someone give you that feedback, it allows you to let go of things so much quicker because you're just no longer holding on to shit that you've already worked through or you're just ready to let go of, like it allows you to just rise and become that version of you that you invested in yourself to become. It really is like this line in the sand. And it is so beautiful just to see like the way that it's opened up your life and the way that you are showing up now. It makes me so excited because I know that there are so many more women out there that are looking to have more energy in their life, more habits that really support them, more discipline, more consistency. And that's exactly why I wanted you to come on the podcast, because I just think that women need to hear from women like you who have been where they are currently at and you're now in the place that they want to get to. And I just think that it's so incredible. To the woman who is listening to this right now that is just feeling a little stuck, what is like one last piece of advice that you would give to her?
Don't give up. Like, it's so cliche and everything, but seriously, don't give up. And if you have an inner knowing of something is bigger than me calling my name all the time, and you just know your life has so much potential, don't give up. I don't even care if it sounds like it's la la land. Half of my life that I did these past 3 to 4 years was based off of la la land. And I took that and I ran with that and it all came true. It
Mhm.
literally all came true.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing everything that you did today, Miranda. I appreciate you more than you could ever even realize. This was so good. And if anyone is listening to this and you're hearing this conversation and you want to reach out to Miranda or me, I am putting Miranda's Instagram in the description so you can always ask her questions. We set the intention to serve you. So we just want to be here as a resource to support you with wherever that you're at. If you have questions that you want me to create a whole podcast on, I'll do it. If we need a two-parter with Miranda, I will make it happen. We are both here to support you, and we are so thankful that you decided to listen in. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.